Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Autism Fridays with Christopher Cleveland.
Welcome back to Autism Fridays with Christopher Cleveland. I'm your host, Christopher Cleveland. In local news, Grand County is no longer officially able to keep a mask mandate in public businesses. They can do it for city offices and similar buildings, and a mask mandate is, for now, essential in schools for continued function. But businesses like restaurants and whatnot can now choose whether or not they wish patrons to wear masks for further services. Furthermore, by national regulation, those who are fully vaccinated are no longer required to wear masks from what I've been able to gather. With this noted, we have 30 active cases at the time of recording this episode, and nothing has changed in the way of our death count, but we do have nearly 980 positive cases, with nearly 950 of those recovered. The current case count is, bearing in mind here, contrast to Emory and Carbon counties each having only 7, for a combined total of not even half our case count. Personally, folks, with this case count in mind and similar controversies, mandate or no, I intend to keep my mask on for at least half the summer. Not just because I'll be working jobs that will likely require me to do so when the school year's out, 2 of them in fact, but because I would rather err on the side of caution, having been fortunate to avoid COVID even with the vaccine in my veins, just by having done so far. Nonetheless, I will respect any choice you make, even if I might disagree with it. Coming up after the break, our topic of the week and much more. Stay tuned. Thank you for tuning back into this episode of Autism Fridays with Christopher Cleveland. I'm your host, Christopher Cleveland. For today's topic, I wanted to talk about something that expands on last week's topic of establishing a foundation, an aspect of the routine that's always there no matter what happens in the days to come. And this new topic has to do with the element of control that implies. When I say control, I don't mean the paranoid kind where you're telling your kid or your student that they're doing this or that and that's final. No, I'm talking about just enough control over your own life and theirs, whether it's your own emotions that are causing problems or finances, whereby that single element can always be guaranteed. See, in psychology, as most of us know, there's what's called victim mentality, which, again, most people know already, and it is when we create any and every reason we might have to be helpless, in some form or another. It has its place, and it's understandable, now in these unprecedented times especially, to feel like there is absolutely nothing that we can do to alleviate our situation. But there is one thing that we can do, which will guide how we maintain this sense of routine and how we acquire the control that we need in order to do it. Simply put, this is embracing the idea that maybe we can't help the situation, but we can help how we respond to it. Think of it this way. If only 10% of life is what actually happens to us, you choose to let what only accounts for about 10% of your life, or less, depending on your point of view, dictate how the other 90 or so percent goes down when you surrender to the temptation to admit loss of control. Instead, if we tell ourselves that we can control how we respond to what happens, or maybe even that we could control how we responded to things that happened in our past, then we can control how we can help those that we love and care about. Any perceived failure on their own part to take advantage of your help after this epiphany? Call it any failure on their part, not yours, to arrive to the same conclusion. Because if there's one thing that children of the autistic community will do when they can't control their own lives, is look to the parent or guardian they trust the most. If they can't do that, the seeds of embitterment, like with any other child, can be laid in the ground. Difference is that any communication barriers you might be experiencing with your autistic child or relative now will make the revelation of this embitterment more explosive when it finally surfaces. as any parent of an autistic kid that's had a meltdown at least once, regardless of reason, might tell you. This control that I speak of is a principle of healing that is discussed in the internal martial arts as well. When we claim control for what happened to us, even if there doesn't seem like there's reason for us to believe there was any, we are able to then abandon the mentality of a victim and find the path to helping ourselves and the ones we care about. For instance, if you were a kid and your dad kicked you in the stomach or something of that nature, you don't control necessarily that your dad did that. You control how you respond to it, or even what might have prompted the kicking in the first place, even if it doesn't seem like there was a reason for it. Doesn't seem that profound, I realize, but I can think of a few people that need a lesson in this, and unfortunately, none of them are kids. Coming up next, our simple meditation of the week and closing dedication. Thank you for tuning back into Autism Fridays with Christopher Cleveland. Once again, I'm your host, Christopher Cleveland. For our simple meditations, I wanted to change tactics and revisit one meditation we've already done before, this time with a new twist. If you remember the episode in which I introduced the hug-a-tree pose, the twist I want to add is that this time, go into the bathroom when you have a chance, fill the bathtub with lukewarm water at hottest, until you'd be ankle deep when you enter. Then, changing into something more comfortable if you need to while you're in the tub, don the hug-a-tree pose and keep at it for as long as you can, then see if there's an energetic difference. If you like, you can even message me on Facebook or Instagram to let me know if there was an observable difference between meditating with your feet in the water and meditating on dry land. This has been Autism Fridays with Christopher Cleveland, and I'll see you next Friday for the finale of the Mental Health Month segment. Stay tuned. This episode is dedicated not to a business, but to a person. Rob Magleby was my after-school tutor when I was in middle school and one of my co-workers in the very same after-school organization in which he tutored me. We have worked side by side for the better portion of 3 years, with him even bragging about how he once told me that the day would come that he and I would work together in the program. He has been one of my mentors for the better portion of 15 years, and I wanted to ensure that if one were needed, he had a confidence boost found in this episode. Come down for some more chess, Rob. Be well, and thanks for the difference you make in our community. Be safe out there, be healthy, be sane, and to be honest, I still want those chess games for years to come. Inside joke between us, ladies and gentlemen. This is Autism Fridays with Christopher Cleveland, and I'll see you next week. Hi, I'm Christopher Cleveland, creator, host, and director of Autism Fridays with Christopher Cleveland. I am a certified secondary education provider located in Moab, Utah, and I'm here to tell you about my show, Autism Fridays with Christopher Cleveland. If you wish to have optimistic, educational, humorous, fun content which holds ideas for age-appropriate discussions for your autistic child or other relative about the COVID-19 crisis and your state's related efforts to curb its spread, subscribe to my YouTube channel or join the Facebook group Autism Fridays with Christopher Cleveland today.